Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. We got another installment of our Let's Talk About It Tuesday segment here. Just going to discuss some random topics around the world of sports and kind of open up at the end for a little, freestyle, I guess, if you want to call it that. So without further ado, we're going to introduce our panelists here for the evening. Start off in the bottom right-hand corner down there with the gentleman that put this all together. So if you've got any complaints, direct them at him, please. That's Robert with WTP for Life. What's going on in your world?
Oh, man. I'm excited to be here this evening for sure. Ready to talk on Tuesday. I mean, this is my third stream since I got back from vacation, so I'm starting to get back into the swing of things again. Glad to be here this evening. Good to see everybody on the screen tonight.
Of course. It's good to have you back from vacation. I know I had mine a week before yours or so, and they're nice, but you kind of get out of the rhythm of doing these podcasts when that goes on. So we'll jump up above him right there. We'll see the man with all the decor on the wall with the headphones on up in the top right. That would be our boy Mossberg of Level Up Sport 10. What's going on over there?
Man, feeling pretty good, man. Can't complain. Blessed, thankful, ready to get into it, man. I feel like it's been a vacation for me as well. I'm busy, just ready to get back into the swing of things, being here every day, try to make it on every show possible. Definitely early in the week, I will be here from now on, man. It's just good to see everybody as well.
Good to see you too. And then over in the bottom left-hand corner with the P on the hat down there, we got our man who keeps it real over in the state of Indiana. Post game, what's going on over there?
Man, it is all good. Excited to be on with y'all once again. I'm trying to get Rob to show me what he do to go on those fabulous vacations, man, but he being stingy. So, I'm going to keep working on it.
Yes, sir.
I feel you, man. My vacation sometimes turn into more work, I think, and Rob over there just turned everybody off and said, I'm out. So I'll give him credit for it. But without further ado, we'll jump into some of the stuff we got going here tonight. First off, last night was the WNBA draft. Kind of curious y'all's thoughts if you kind of paid attention, if you looked at it, if you I know some of y'all probably looked at it a lot closer than I did, but you always hear this question. If after looking at it and giving your thoughts, who do you think won the draft? And we're going to drop down and start over with post game on this one. We're going to let post game rattle off first on this
one. Well, interesting draft, fellas. I thought a lot of teams did very well. The shock to me was the Minnesota Lynx, who's arguably the second best team in the WNBA next to the Vegas Aces. Probably the second best player in the league, having Nafisha Collier. But they end up with Olivia Miles. And if anybody out there has been watching the podcast, to add a point guard like that with the passing skills, the vision, to me, she's a female Magic Johnson. I know that's high praise, but y'all going to see what I see. But for the second best team in the WNBA to add a point guard like Olivia Miles, I thought they absolutely hit it out the park. I personally wouldn't have been mad if she went first overall. I think she's that good. But another thing was with the first pick, the Wings take AZ Fudd. Now, keep in mind, they already have Arike Gumbawale and Paige Beckers. So essentially what they're doing is they're rolling out a 3-guard set, which could be, that could transform the game. When you think about teams with the Golden State Warriors with the Splash Brothers, and then you think about the Wings with the names I just mentioned, that could transcend the game of women's basketball with that perimeter shooting. I thought Seattle did well with they had multiple picks throughout the 3 rounds. They got a lot of good players. So I felt like it was a few teams who did very well.
Agree. real quick before we move on, I got to highlight the comment that came in. We got somebody named Roblox Edits is in the chat. Told them, hey, welcome. But our boy Doug decided to jump in with, he said UCLA won the draft.
Yeah.
5 players drafted or something, right, in the first round.
Yeah.
So I had to give a quick shout out to our boy Doug. Jump up to you, Moss. I saw you shaking your head when I asked the question, so we'll let you jump on in and get your take out.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to go over to the Washington Mystics. Talk about a couple of those UCLA women that they was able to snag in bets. And Angelic is one Take Zay's special ladies that he like on that UCLA team that he talk about in bets and parlay polls that he like as well. I think the way that they went to this draft, they got a bit of every position. They got a wing, they got a guard, they got a center. They built and not just to win now, and they built them for the future. That way, if anything that goes on when it comes to contracts, I think this Washington Mystics team is a team to watch. And you got to remember, they were building things and competing with teams like Seattle, New York. I believe at the time the Minnesota Lynx, they were battling at that time to be one of those perennial teams. And they had dealt with some injuries, in that organization. I think now getting this draft with a Cody as well added, I didn't forget to mention her name, I'm sorry, with Cassandra and then Roy Harmon from Texas. I think this Mystics team, they draft the starting 5. But they really could come at you in different ways. They for sure got a bench, and I think they could be a team that we think we should put on watch this year to see what they could do.
Yeah, that draft last night, man, it was a phenomenal draft. You're thinking about 3 rounds, 15 picks a piece in each round. And you think about the caliber of players we've watched all this past NCAA basketball season, and you're thinking to yourself, man, the WNBA is about to be lit with the style of players that they already had, all of these phenomenal players, and then you bring in another crop of players from the college level, and you're thinking to yourself, everybody is going to benefit from this. So I can't pick one team that I think benefited over the other, but when you saw that first pick and you saw them take the young lady from UConn, Fudd, you knew for a fact that they were going to be institute the 3-guard offense. And many of us talked about who we thought they would pick with that first pick. And we thought they would get a big because we already thought their backcourt was solidified. Yeah. And then they go pull that stunt on you, man, which sends a message to the rest of the league. You better get ready for this 3-guard offense we about to throw at you. Because all 3 of them, they can ball, bro. And I think all the teams had an opportunity to do some great drafting, and they all did. So I don't think there's any winners, any losers. I think the WNBA won as a whole.
Yeah, I'll agree. Like I said, it's not one of the sports I keep up with closely, but I do kind of keep up with it a little bit. And, of course, all my other favorite teams are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so I kind of take the Wings as a team. And, you can't go wrong if you stack a roster with people from UConn. I don't think you're going to build a bad team if you do that. So, they've been coached well, so they know how the grind goes, and we're going to see where it leads. I mean, it'd be good to see that team kind of step it up a little bit. They had a couple years ago, they were pretty good, and then they've just kind of fallen off and fallen flat. So we'll see where they go. Hopefully it'll work out for them, but it's going to be interesting, that's for sure, with that 3-guard rotation like y'all already mentioned. So we'll see. I mean, they're putting the league on notice. You better get out and cover us because we're going to start shooting.
Real quick, the Seattle Storm, like, just to inform you on some of the players, I like the Iowa fam Tiam, if I'm saying it right. I went to Seattle. You know, the big. I think when she comes to this WNBA, I think she's coming to change the game. The 6'4" big. You're talking about a versatile that could really do it all. I think when we look at this WNBA, it's beginning to have that changeover, that effect like what the international players did in the NBA. I think we're starting to see that same thing in the WNBA, but it's more like this year. I think it's known, it's put on notice. The quality picks that they went in this WNBA, but the talent is there. So I think when it comes to the WNBA, I think we're in for a great season. If you don't watch it, I'm telling you, this next couple of weeks, you might want to tune in to that opening day, because I think we're going to start to see some rivalry matchups, one-on-one type of matchups, where we see, a mentality in some of these players we haven't seen in the past few years to get that back. And we seen the veterans at the WNBA draft and how they spoke on the talent that we have that's coming in and for the years to come as well.
And don't forget, Moss, Seattle drafted Dominique Malonga last year, the 6'6" center from I think France. So you parlay that with they draft this year, and they cooking with something. But I was surprised, fellas, that Big Beers from Oklahoma didn't get drafted last night. I know she's not the most athletic big in the WNBA draft, but man, she's physical and she can play in the post. I'm pretty sure she'll be signed by somebody, but I was a little surprised she didn't at least go in the second or third round.
Yeah. And speaking on that UCLA team, that was 6 seniors that got drafted. Like, that's crazy for 6 seniors, coming from a national championship team. I think that just goes to show the work that they put in, for those few years and being right there and actually getting them one. Just shout out to the hard work that they put in as well as all the ladies that got drafted or didn't get drafted, that you still doing what you do as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think y'all mentioned it before, but here's a question for somebody that doesn't follow it as close as maybe y'all do, and this may help some viewers out too. Like the NBA has a D League. Does the WNBA have anything like that, or do these players have to go overseas to be considered like their G League? If that makes sense?
Mm-hmm. You can go ahead and take it, Post, if you want.
Yeah, the WNBA doesn't have a G League. The players that miss the cut are likely heading overseas until they can get into the WNBA.
Okay. That's. Go ahead, Moss.
No, I was about to say, and then they just started having like little. If you really watch a lot of players, when you got that Olympics, that FIBA, they actually get that look, during those times. And like Post said, and then you had this rival leagues that's going. So, if you just sometimes look into it, which I notice is starting to change a little bit, different leagues are popping up that they're starting to have throughout the spring and summer, during that downtime. So it's gaining momentum, is broadening, is becoming more global. In other words, slowly but surely, it's going to get there. And I just love the way it's going. I think this year's draft, hats off, and I think we're just getting started on what's to come.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I just, I wasn't for sure if they did. I didn't think they did, but, we wanted to verify everything and get it cleared up. I thought they had to go overseas, so that's good to talk about that. If you're following along on the chat, we're going to jump out of order for a minute because some of the questions I had already typed up, I found out from our dear friend One Take that they were already talked about on Saturday. So I deleted them and threw some in. Real quick, I sent him the link. I thought I sent it to him and then I resent it to him, but he asked for it. So can somebody make sure he's got the link? Because I think he's trying to get in. And I tried to send it to him again. So
I got you. I'll send it to him real quick.
All right, we're gonna let Robert take this one first, real quick. So we're jumping over. We're talking about WNBA now. Let's go to the NBA. Do you like the play-in tournament? Why or why not?
I do like the play-in tournament. I mean, it's not like they're trying to put a team that's in the 12th spot into the playoffs, but I like that battle to get into that 8th, 9th seed, trying to get that positioning there. I like it. I feel like it adds another level of competitiveness in the NBA, gives us another thing that the NBA fans can look forward to, especially if your team is right there at that bubble spot of making the playoffs. You want to see them have an opportunity to play a play-in game to get that spot. So I like it. I like the thrill of it, and I hope that they can find some other things, maybe not when it comes to the playoffs, but some other things in the NBA that makes it a lot more interesting.
Post game, your thoughts?
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the play-in game. Excuse me. I just figure, there's 80. The NBA has an 82 game regular season plus preseason. You got 82 games to get yourself together and vie for that playoff spot if your team is that good. I really feel like they created the play-in specifically for LeBron James. That's just my opinion. I know they've been looking at this Laker roster, especially at the time when they first incorporated the play-in game. They knew the Lakers because, like hate them or love them, LeBron James is a breadwinner for the NBA. People are going to tune in and watch LeBron James, still the biggest star in the league. Whatever your feelings is about him, people going to watch. So I felt like they created that to keep him involved in postseason play. But I'm not a fan of the play-in games. I feel like you got 82 games to do what you need to do, and that should be that.
Okay.
For me, I like it. I don't know. I like the play-in game. I think it kind of brings some kind of intensity, for me, because I'm not really into watching as much NBA as I used to be. So the play-in game, what it's done for me as a fan of the game is brought that intensity back. You see these teams going out that one game, giving it all, but then they can also be a team that gets that next series also. I'm looking at this Golden State team. I'm looking at this Charlotte, LaMelo Ball, Con Knipple. I'm looking at these guys to do something major. I got Charlotte in a win tonight in this playing game against Miami. Sorry about Mr. Manzano if you're a Miami Heat fan, but
hold that thought on predictions, Mom. Hold that thought.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I like it. I love it. I just think teams like this, like we seeing tonight, really get a chance. And the way Curry been cooking, being that chef that we know he could be, it'll be amazing to see him go on a playoff run and challenge the king while he's down in LA, a few players, for a playoff push for a title.
Well, I'm going to jump in here real quick with my take on it is before we get to Anthony, his comments real quick. We'll definitely get them up for you, Anthony. Appreciate you tuning in. I don't like it. I'm with post game. I agree with what Anthony had to say too, but I don't like it. I guess call me old school, call me that get off my lawn guy. I don't care. I like be in the top 8 or don't get in. That's just where I stand on it. Just me. I see we got one take Zay in the building now. What's going on? You got real quick before we jump into some of these comments we got. You got any takes on the WNBA and how you think the draft went last night? And then if you want to just link that together with, do you like the play-in tournament?
Yeah, I ain't gonna pump fake. I ain't see none of the draft. I seen AZ Fudd went first, and I was just thinking I asked post game what he'd do. Lauren Betts was sitting right there. Why we ain't take Lauren Betts? But the play-in tournament is trash. Why are we giving out participation awards? That's what it is. I don't understand that. I heard postgame say they created for LeBron. You know, that's the first time I heard that theory. But when I think about it, that might be true. That really might be true. You know, they didn't want LeBron to be missed. That's their golden boy, their golden child. They did not want him to be out of the playoffs. So yeah, man, that stuff is trash. I don't know why we got it there. I think it even helps out tanking in a sort of way. So I don't know why it's there, but hey, to each his own. You know, they trying to get more money. You know, people gonna be tuned into them games tonight and tomorrow. Well, they start tonight and tomorrow. So I don't know. But hey, one take Timmy. I deserve a Grammy, an Oscar, and an Emmy. All right, go ahead.
You always know you're gonna get something out of that one. Real quick before we move on, catch up with Anthony real quick. Said with how successful the Miami Heat have been in the NBA with multiple championships, I'm assuming he thinks the WNBA is going to try to bring back the Miami Soul. That's a possibility. I mean, they just brought back the Comets. So he also said he agrees the play-in tournament is a joke. We're rewarding mediocrity when most of these teams are below 500. And he disagreed with you, Moss. I don't think it brings back the intensity. I believe both the play-in tournament and the NBA Cup are a waste. It's a way for the NBA to make more money and cause more injuries. So that's our buddy Anthony. Again, all takes are welcome here.
I like it.
You know, and then he kind of chimed in with what I said. He's a new school NBA fan. He didn't start watching the NBA until after 99, but he was raised on families in the 80s and 90s. So, again, all comments and questions will be mentioned and talked about. So, definitely drop them, keep them coming. Helps the show roll. And we also enjoy all the people watching and tuning in right now.
Yeah.
We're going to jump down now to the next question is this is tonight. You got Miami at Charlotte and Portland at Phoenix tonight in the first two play-in games. So let me see who hasn't gone. Moss, you can take off since you were trying to give your predictions out earlier with Charlotte, Miami, and Portland and Phoenix. What are your thoughts on those two matchups?
I think the Charlotte team is hungry. I like the comment with Mr. Manzano. I think he'll see that intensity tonight out of this Charlotte team. I think that team that has been right there. I think, for the play-in game, some teams deal with injuries throughout the season. Some things you can't control. I think it gives opportunity as well. But I'm going with Charlotte tonight. At home over Miami. Portland is going to be a scary team in this game against Phoenix. If they get the opportunity to win this game against Phoenix, trust me, they're going to take it. But Phoenix at home can be tough, especially with the playoffs on the line. I'm going to be the wild guy that I am. I'm going with Charlotte at home, but I'm going to take Portland on the road.
Okay. One take. You got any? What do you want to give in on it? No, I guess he doesn't have a take. So we'll slip on over and let's roll over to post game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to this young home green Hornets team. I like the way they're constructed. I think they're taking a page out of the Golden State Warriors playbook when you talk about Khan, Knipple, and the ball boy. Now, I will admit that team is kind of exciting to watch. Even though I'm not a fan of the play-in games, I do like watching that team and their three-point shooting. And it'll be exciting to see what type of team they end up being in the future. But I'm with Moss also. I got Portland in the other game. I like how Portland's been playing lately. Last 10 games, they're 7-3. AV is balling. You wouldn't think Portland would even be a play-in team losing their coach, but they got a nice little roster that can make a little bit of noise.
Yeah, I would like to see this Miami team that has a little bit more experience when it comes to playoffs to win this game. That's who I would think would win this thing. But I love that young Charlotte team, man, and I would love to see them make it to the playoffs. They're probably going to get swept by whoever they meet, but I still would like to see them win this playoff game and get in there. Even though I believe the Miami team and the experience that they have will probably win that game. As far as the other game, I think Portland is playing some really good basketball right now. And whenever you got a team that's starting to get hot during the second half of the season, you want to see if they can stay hot going into the playoffs. So hopefully they can pull out this win over Phoenix, even though Phoenix is the home team. Like my man Anthony said, they might be soft.
Yeah, Anthony's got some pretty good takes on it. He's kind of agreed with you with the Miami and the playoff experience. What he said there, he thinks Miami wins in a close game. He says, and it goes to multiple overtimes. And he does also have Portland winning because he says the Suns are soft. Zay, you ready? Still don't know if he's ready.
He at work.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the take here. I like this young Charlotte team. I get the feel from Charlotte in this kind of scenario that they're almost too young to know they're here, and they just play. I don't want to say they're like too dumb to know they're there, but that just doesn't sound right. But they're there. They're like, we're just playing ball now. Let's just play. I don't know that they're going to let any kind of nerves or it's a play-in and all. I don't think that's going to affect them. I think they're just going to play and have fun. I'm going to take Charlotte in this one. Portland, Phoenix. This game can hinge a lot on what Devin Booker do you get. I've seen Phoenix be extremely tough when he's on, and I've seen Phoenix get blistered when he's not. So that's what we're going to go with. I'm not a Suns fan, so I'm going to hope Portland wins this. Never have been a Phoenix Suns fan. So I'm going to go with Portland in this one. And that'll shift us over. That'll get us through tonight, and then we'll shift over to tomorrow, where you have one person on the screen's team playing. They're going to be hosting the Orlando Magic, that being the Philadelphia 76ers. And then following that, you've got the West Coast showdown, which is kind of weird to see both of these teams in the play-in, the Warriors and the Clippers. It's been a while since we've seen these two both at the same time down that lower. So, Rob, I'm going to let you go last because your team is involved in this. I know you're a Sixers guy. So, Moss or post-game, whichever one of y'all's got your hot take. We'll let post-game go first. Moss, you went first last time. So, post-game, you got this one.
Yeah, fellas. I like the Orlando Magic. I just think they've been coming along lately. My man Ben Churro is a force to be reckoned with. If anybody out there doesn't know his game, I've said it before. Reminds me a little bit of Carmelo Anthony, big physical guy who can rebound and score the ball. If Philadelphia was completely healthy, with a healthy Joel Embiid, I don't even think they are in a playing game. I think their playoff spot is secured. But I got the Orlando Magic in that game. As far as the Clippers and Warriors, as long as Kawhi Leonard is playing, I'm going to go against the Golden State Warriors and take the Clippers in this one. I mean, I love watching Steph Curry. I know what he's capable of doing. But I just think this year, Golden State doesn't have what it takes. And on top of that, Curry's been out for a long time, man, a long time. And I think, as good as he is, you got to build chemistry with that team, man. They got so many players out and so many new players increasing their role on the team. So I'll take the Clippers in this one, so long as Kawhi Leonard is playing.
Man, this tough for the Orlando game, playing without a Joel Embiid. of course, in this one game, you'll definitely want to have him. I think they're going to try to attack the basket. But I think the way this Philly team been coming on, shout out to the way McCain has been playing as well. I think the way he's playing, you add Paul George in there, what all he's been through. I think this Philly team is out to prove something in this first round without Joel Embiid being there in this playing game. I'm going Philly. We all brothers. We all love each other. So go ahead, show some brotherly love to Philly for them to get this win. So I am, because I like what they bring. Tyrese Maxey, we know what he brings to the table too. I love what you said, Post. I think this is a team that you wouldn't want to play, being Philly, because, you could be at home the following day. But I think Philly prevails in a close one. Man, it was tough. I'm going to go Philly. Definitely go Philly in this one.
All you, floor's yours.
Man, my Philadelphia 76ers, man. Joel Embiid, man. Come on, man. You done it to me about 8 years in a row, man. I understand it's an appendicitis. I understand it's an appendicitis. You had no control over that, nor did you have control over any of those other injuries either. But, man, listen, dude, you got to be the worst luck having player in the NBA. I already said it before. I thought Philadelphia, once he started playing good, they might want to think about trying to get something for him, because we already knew this would happen. But I'm going with my Philadelphia 76ers because they're my team and I need them to win it. But without Embiid, it's going to be very, very difficult. As far as the Warriors and the Clippers, I mean, how can you go against Steph Curry? Everybody wants to see Steph Curry. How is he, 38 years old or whatever, playing in the playoffs again? I think they missed the playoffs last year, if I ain't mistaken, or he was hurt and they went out early in the first round. So we definitely want to see Steph Curry in this playoff. So let's go Golden State Warriors. Let's go Philadelphia 76ers.
Did I pick for you on that second one, SEC? Give me Curry, man. Of course, man. It's playoff time. Remember. Yeah. I'm going Curry.
We'll jump into our boy. We got to keep up with our boy. Our boy Anthony B. He got some fingers, man. That dude be typing. He's typing like paragraphs. He put old William Shakespeare to shame over here. He's just going. He's got Orlando. He says the same thing about Philadelphia that he did with Phoenix. They're soft. And he's got Golden State because he feels the Clippers are soft. And then he has another comment here. Philadelphia, if they've blown, even though they're at home, they've been known to blow home playoff games over the past few years. And then our boy Zay said he got too much work going on, but he's got Charlotte, the new Splash Brothers, and Portland moving on there. So kind of where I sit is I'm leaning Orlando. I like Pablo Banchero.
Yes, sir.
I like him. I like his game. Didn't like him much when he was at Duke, just because he seemed to always beat teams I liked. But I know that'll make one certain lady not happy with me, but that's all right. So I'm going with Orlando. And I'm going to agree. I know it's odd for me in postgame to agree. Sarcasm for those. Go watch some old shows. I'm going with the Clippers. I've had enough of Steph Curry in the playoffs. It's time for him to go on. Let's get some. I like Kawhi to lead the Clippers to victory in that game. So now we're going to scroll back up to the top, and this is where y'all will be able to follow along. That closes out our WNBA and NBA discussion. So now jump in. This has been full effect. We've had some players sign. Looking at the transfer portal, any of your teams signed anybody? that of note is there's somebody you're keeping an eye on for your team? Just kind of go around your teams. I know y'all got a pretty big sign over there at BYU. That's still your team, right, Moss?
Yes, sir. I ain't going nowhere. Ever since AJ arrived,
next year it could be Washington State, or I don't know what we're doing.
It's BYU, AJ. Okay. I've literally had, like, of all teams, like, I used to watch BYU. Even growing up, being a Kentucky fan, like, I'm a basketball, I soak it up. So BYU was a team I always watch. The way they play the game is special. They always had great coaching. Just even the student section, that's what really got me to BYU. So what we have coming in, 6th ranked player, I mean, special. I'm giving a little clue of my what if, man. I'm hoping my guy come back and not go into the NBA draft, because
that's going to swing a lot for BYU right there. That's going to swing a lot.
That's the main thing I'm looking at. I know what we have coming in. I know we lost Robert Wright to the transfer portal. Another guy we lost to the transfer portal, I want to say Bernard Jr. But outside of that, really haven't looked to see if they're going to let Richie, come back with the injury through the season or not. I think a lot of things for me is just seeing what AJ does. I know the talent we have coming in is going to be great. If we can get a couple bigs in a portal, that would be awesome. BYU bigs. If you're out there in the portal, I'm calling you BYU bigs because we see you and we want you to come and join the Cougar Nation. The pavilion could get popping. So come to Provo, and you know what goes on down in BYU, man. Moss will love to cheer for you, talk about you, but that's just what I'm looking forward to, see what AJ does and what we get in the bigs, coming into the portal.
Yeah, for sure. Robert, you went last time, so we'll let you follow up right now. I haven't really, believe it or not, I haven't kept up with Texas.
Yeah, well, Texas is in a pretty good position right now. They were able to keep Montas, so that's going to be a big help for them. Now, Dylan Swain has declared for the NBA draft, but he still has an opportunity to come back. And if he comes back, Texas can be really, really good. They got Isaiah Johnson out of the portal from Colorado, a nice running guard. And they also got a forward 6'7" guy from out of TCU. I can't remember his last name, might be Pounds or something like that. But anyway, this guy is really, really good out of TCU. Has some really good statistics in the Big 12. So we're excited to have him in that backcourt. He'll be a really good running mate with Montas. They got 4 guys that's coming in as freshmen. So that's going to give them 7 guys. So I would imagine they're going to get 3 or 4 more people out of the portal. 4 if Dylan Swain decides he is going to stay going to the NBA, but if he doesn't, then they'll get 3 other guys, probably another combo guard and a guy that can play the 3 who might be around 6'5", 6'6", out there on the wing for them. But they got to get shooters. That's what their biggest concern is right now. They want to get some more shooters, because in a Sean Miller type offense, you got to be able to shoot that rock. And they can't afford to get another Kendall Weaver. I love Kendall Weaver to death, all of his hustling and all of that, but you sag on him all day because he can't shoot.
Post, well, what you got going? I mean,
the team that's been on fire for me has been the Indiana Hoosiers. This is such a different era of college sports with the NIL and transfer portal, man. You can literally build a juggernaut overnight. I mean, first of all, them getting former Notre Dame point guard Marcus Burton, a guy who led the ACC conference in scoring his sophomore year, that was a huge get. And shout out to him, man. He deserves it. Of course, I would have loved to see him stay at Notre Dame, but I mean, Notre Dame men's basketball is Notre Dame's men's basketball right now. I'm not expecting too much from them, but key additions, man. Jaden Mustafa from Georgia Tech, Darren Harris from Duke. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the other guy's name they got from SMU, but they're assembling a great team down at IU. So that's a team to watch next season because they've done a hell of a job in the transfer portal thus far.
Yeah, for sure. We picked up Haggerty from Kansas State at A&M. Big pickup for us, I believe. We got some word that Clements was going to come back. Vincent is going to come back. And we've got our names in the hat for a few other players to go get to. I think you're going to see a lot of the rosters get kind of filled out over this next few days. Got to look and see. I'm not exactly sure when this portal ends, but I would assume it's got to be in the next week or so. So really was happy about Haggerty. I'm still curious where that kid from, what was it, Santa Clara, or was it St. Mary's? One of the two. That kid that was the leading scorer and rebounder out there. I can't even pronounce the kid's name. But I'm real curious to see where he goes. I think Louisville has been pretty much hitting this portal too now. They got the big from Kansas, and I can't even remember the other person they got. So Louisville's had a pretty strong transfer portal so far too. Our boy Anthony talking about the transfer portal, he kind of agrees with what we've all said before. He thinks it's a good and bad thing. It's a good thing for players that aren't getting playing time. It's a bad thing that you can do it multiple times. We've all kind of agreed on that over numerous shows. But I don't remember, somebody had mentioned building a juggernaut roster out of the portal, and he said he used his Hurricanes. No one expected Miami Hurricanes to be that good last year. And then all of a sudden he made the right additions in the portal, and Miami was a really good team this year. So,
speaking of,
I know it was a good
team.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off because you got to think they was just in the Sweet 16, if I'm not mistaken, Elite 8 just a couple of years ago, and think that was a team that could have went to the national championship. You know, foul trouble, I think, was the only thing, and they missed shots. I like that Miami team. I was rooting them on. I like the players they had. So, yeah, it was good to see what they did with the portal. I think the portal was special for college basketball. We seeing players we don't get to see. A lot of people not talking about Blackwell from Wisconsin. I think he messed around and get a spot at a Duke, a North Carolina, one of these blue blood schools. And I still have my thoughts on North Carolina being a blue blood with what they've been going through and dealing with. And who knows, Michigan might pull a hat trick and do what they did in the portal. I mean, with what they have coming back, I think this portal was special on the college basketball side, whereas we had so much craziness on the football side.
One of the starting guards from Villanova transferred into Miami. Lewis. I know I saw it pop up, but I'm not real familiar with his game. But from what I read on the pickup, it's a pretty good pickup for Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Texas was after him, too.
Oh, then I'm glad he went to Miami.
Yeah.
Good kid. Smart kid.
Yeah.
That'll move us off from there. This is where it gets a little weird here for me is we've got the NHL playoffs cranking up. Now, I know hockey's not followed as closely as other sports, but I'm going to lay out to you how they do their playoff seeding, and you tell me how dumb you think it is. And if you don't think it's dumb, you're banned from this show forever. So in every sport, you go once the 8 teams make the playoffs in hockey, by the way, in each conference. By the way, the Blue Jackets missed out. Philadelphia won the game last night, so the Blue Jackets missed the playoffs. So, but there's the Atlantic Division, the Metropolitan Division, the Central Division, and the Pacific Division. There's 4 divisions. So what they do is 8 teams make the playoffs, 3 from each division. Now, instead of the 1 seed playing the wild card, the 8th place team, and the second division winner playing them, they take, like, Dallas is the 2nd seed in the Central Division, and they have to play Minnesota, who's the 3rd seed, in the first round, and then turn around and they would play Colorado in the next round. So 1 plays 8, but yet 2 plays 3, and then the winner of that plays 1. It is the dumbest playoff setup ever. You are the 3 best teams in hockey this year were Colorado, Dallas, and my Minnesota Wild. Those 3 teams were the 3 of the 5 best. They're all in one division. They're all in the Central, and they have to play each other before they even get to the conference finals. Instead of just seeding based 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 based on record, they seed it by your conference. It is the dumbest seeding procedure of any major sport I have ever seen in my life. You are eliminating 2 Stanley Cup caliber teams before the Western Conference Finals even start. And hopefully it's hard to follow unless you follow hockey to kind of know how it breaks down, but it just doesn't make sense to me. It would be like the Bulls in the Jordan eras, but yet they would have to play in the first round. They had to play like Boston, and then in the second round they had to play the Knicks instead of getting, like, no offense, but Orlando. Not playing the 8 seed. Now they get the 3 seed, and then they get the 2 seed, and then they get whatever's left. That's kind of what it would be like.
So, looking at the standings, what I'm trying to figure out is why is a team with, okay, I'm looking at it different now. Okay, like, I know it's by the points too.
Right. Well, but yeah. So if you're looking at the standings, let me pull up my hockey standings real quick. If you're looking at them and you go to standings, if you hit the little tab, if you're on ESPN, the little tab says wild card under standings. If you click that, you'll then see you got the Atlantic, the Metropolitan, and then the 2 wild cards. And then you have the Central and the Pacific, and then the 2 wild cards. You can actually hit playoff. Well, they haven't filled in their bracket yet because it's not set yet. But if you look, Colorado has 117 points. Dallas has 110. And Carolina in the Eastern Conference has 111. And Minnesota has 102. There's 3 teams in one division that are going to eliminate all but one. Dallas, Colorado, or Minnesota are going to be eliminated in the Western Conference semifinals. One of those teams will make it out of that. But yet you've got teams like Vegas, Edmonton, and Anaheim who all have 93 points or less. And one of those teams is also going to be in the Western Conference final. So you're eliminating 2 of your best teams in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
That's if they lose, though, right?
But they're playing each other, and they're the 3 best teams, so they're very evenly matched anyway.
I don't know. I think it brings – I think you just got to have your hockey helmet on and be ready to play. It's different because of the point system and everything, how they do it, but I don't know. Like,
yeah,
they've changed it a couple
times
as well, but I don't know. I've been kind of used to how they do what they do personally, so I just think one thing I know in hockey, they got to come out and they got to give it they all. That's why they call it the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, it's called the NBA Finals. I think,
right.
When you losing teeth on that ice, I think we know what the intensity is like within itself. You know, you out there throwing your body, you know, so I love
playoff hockey is second to none. I'll tell you that. Playoff hockey is second to none. I just can't. I don't understand what's so hard about just seeding 1 through 8 and doing a normal tournament bracket. I just don't understand it. To me, you're just eliminating some good teams right up front, and you know, people that are casual fans won't tune into a hockey playoff series, you know, randomly, but maybe during the Western Conference Finals. And if it's like Dallas and Colorado, the 2 highest scoring teams in the league, points wise, if those 2 teams are playing in the Western Conference Finals, you have more of a chance to tune in than you would if it's like Colorado and Utah.
Gotcha.
You see, so to me, if I'm a commissioner of a sport, I would want my better teams to be alive longer. So just kind of a weird take for me. I don't know if y'all got any questions or anything like that. We do have a couple of good matchups. We're probably going to get the Battle of Pennsylvania in the first round. We are going to get the Battle of Pennsylvania in the first round, which is Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia. I know Columbus, shout out like a lot of Pittsburgh fans here, because when Columbus didn't have a team, a lot of them gravitated towards Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
we got some good matchups coming up. So, you know, any questions, comments, concerns, or anything you want to know, I mean, I'll answer whatever I can about hockey. I follow hockey closer than I do a lot of other sports, because I think it is just insane the amount of skill these guys have on a pair of ice skates. I couldn't check my mail in ice skates. And these guys are out there running into each other, hitting each other. You never watched a hockey game? Watch playoff hockey. They fight. The refs let them fight until somebody hits the ground, and then they break it up.
I love hockey.
Hockey is just insane to me.
I like that you mentioned the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going Pittsburgh Penguins because I'm a Sidney Crosby fan. And when you mention the Pittsburgh Penguins, it's no way, you know, you can't think about Sidney. I think that's like, you know, watching, you know, at one point it was MJ on ice. I still think it's like watching him as he's ending his career. You know, respect to MJ. If you go watch Sidney Crosby over his career, you know, the rivalry that him and Alex Ovechkin, you know, had with each other and what they do respectively on that ice with the puck, with the stick, you name it, man. So I'm going Pittsburgh Penguins, just what you mentioned in that game myself.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh's a hot team. I can tell you right now, my Western Conference final is probably going to be Dallas versus Vegas. And then in the East, I'm going to have a little crazy one. I think it's going to be Carolina and Buffalo. By the way, this will be the first time in 3 years we have a new Stanley Cup winner, because the Florida Panthers didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So the back-to-back defending champions are not in there. So I just wanted to kind of get that out there. I mean, like I said, I know it's not something that's watched or followed real close, but I just thought it was just a weird playoff scenario system. So I don't want to waste too much time on it. Like I said, another one, we're kind of a couple weeks into it. I don't know, we've never really touched on this yet, but if you've got a favorite baseball team, have you kept up with them at all? And if so, how do you think they're doing right now? And you have any hope for them? And I see you shaking your head with that little face down there. So I'm going to let you go first. I think I know who your favorite baseball team is, and I am happy right now if it's who I think it is.
Man, my Houston Astros,
They came
out looking like they were going to be decent. I had no hope for them this year now. Don't get me wrong. I didn't think they were going to be any good. But, man, they came out, and I was like, oh, wow. They was like maybe 5-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Here lately, I think they've lost maybe 9 straight games. They've been getting their butts kicked. And I'm like, man, what is
it? Hold on. It's not that bad. Let me interrupt you. It's only 8 games in a row.
8 games in a row? Well, I knew I was close. Man, that team is, I mean, but it ain't even close. It's been like 9-1, 10-1, 7-2. I mean, they've been getting smoked. So, I've been keeping up with my Astros, but man, they are horrible right now. I don't even know if we have any bright spots. I mean, Yordan Alvarez hit his first home run a couple of games ago. He might have 2 by now, but they're just really not any good, man. And when you don't have pitching, and they got rid of some guys that they probably should have signed to some contracts, but they didn't do that. And when you got a small market like the Houston Astros, man, you're not going to be able to retain players that you need to win championships. They got lucky the couple of times that they were able to do it, but my Astros ain't looking good right now.
It's not a small market, though. That's like the 5th biggest television market in the U.S.
Yeah, but their team isn't.
It's
well,
ownership.
I mean, I'll say small in comparison to L.A. and New York.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it does rank behind Dallas-Fort Worth, too. But that's Dallas-Fort Worth combined. So, but I just think it's the owner just doesn't want to. They just don't want to pay. And I'll be honest with the Astros, they've made some terrible trades at deadlines trying to make a run, and then it's turned around and bit them.
Yep.
So, sorry, somebody came in my door. I didn't know who it was. Thought I was going to have to go stab somebody. It was just my son-in-law. Probably should have stabbed him anyway.
Man, Post both Yankee fans, so I'm gonna let you.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Everybody's got like my hated rival in baseball here.
Them bats, man. Them new improved bats. But I'm gonna let Post have this one about our Bronx Bombers.
Okay. Let's go with it.
Yeah, first of all, I got beef with Rob of WTP Sports News because when he was on vacation, he came into the chat, probably, on a beach or something, toes in the sand, might have had an adult beverage, maybe not. But he got to talking crazy about the Yankees. At that point, they were like 5-1 to start the season on a heater. And since then, I think they're like 4-6 in their last 10 games. So they've been struggling here. So I'm gonna put that on you, Rob, man. Ever since you had me talking about my Yankees on live stream, they've been faltering. So hopefully they can get. Listen, man. Garrett Cole is out. I'm hoping he can get back and return to form. We need our ace. I mean, the Yankees, for some reason, over the last, 10, 15 years, invest a lot in big bats. So hopefully, the pitching can, because we all know pitching gets you W's in October. Hopefully the pitching can get up to par. Like I said, Garrett Cole gets back and turns back into that ace we need.
Yeah, I totally agree with you in that. And, for me, just seeing Aaron Judge do what he do, man. We know his bat going to swing. I think if our, pitching come in healthy, and we know as a Yankee fan, when our pitching is doing what it do, you never know what the Yankees will do. Great pitching, great hitting, and great defense amounts to titles. So for me as a Yankees fan, I just want to see, like you said, Cole get healthy, get our pitching rotation back to form, and be better, especially in that playoff. October, I think that's where normally we get hot. I think we've lost a little of that steam at that time, but I think with this team and this build, I think we can get that back. And Judge is, like I said, man, he's just one to none, just a special talent. It's just good to see him in a Yankees uniform and not have to go against him, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Doug jumped back in. He's a huge Astros fan too. So, but he says the Pirates are looking pretty good. Yeah, they are, but the Pirates are the Pirates. They always falter at the end. And the Astros are killing me. Anthony says my Marlins are doing pretty well, for sure. We'll see how they hold up too. My team is actually, I was very pissed off at them a few weeks ago after getting swept by Cincinnati. But then they turned around and swept Seattle. Lost 2 of 3 to the Dodgers, but I mean, that's to be kind of expected, I think. And now they're playing Oakland this week. So we'll see how that goes. Beat them last night. So my Rangers are looking pretty good. If we can get if our pitching staff will do what if they pitch to their potential, that has a potential to be one of the best rotations in all of baseball. When you throw Nathan Eovaldi, Jacob deGrom, and Mackenzie Gore, 1, 2, 3, followed by first overall pick a couple years ago, Jack Leiter, and I want to say first pick in the second round, maybe Kumar Rocker, both Vanderbilt pitchers from back in the day. I mean, if those guys pitch to their potential, that's a formidable pitching rotation. So I'm kind of happy with where we are. I didn't really look for a whole lot. So anything, we can do to make it work, I'll take it. We are probably in the worst division in all of baseball, the American League West. Seriously. That's a division that's going to be, the winner might have 87 games won, but they've all beat the hell out of each other because I think they're all about evenly terrible. The teams are. So we'll see what happens with that, but it's kind of what I am. One last thing on baseball real quick that I wanted to get your opinion on is as soon as, man, we have more chats tonight than I've ever seen, more comments over here. We're going to have to get Melissa, or we could have used one take to just be a moderator on these things. I got to get back up to where. So with the amount of money being spent on rosters, do you feel like baseball is the main sport where you can buy a championship? There doesn't seem to be any rules. They have a salary cap, but they don't follow it. The Lakers are just paying people billions upon billions of dollars to come play, and they're structuring this contract so ways that it doesn't really affect cap numbers. But if you add up their rosters, the Yankees are notorious for overspending too. My Rangers did it once, and it got us a World Series, and then it bit us because now we're broke. But do you think baseball is a sport where you can manipulate the salary cap, so to speak, and just pay for a championship?
Man, most definitely. We seen it the last, couple of years with these daggone Dodgers, man. It's right there, man. I think a couple of years ago, they lost to the Astros, and I think before that year, they lost to somebody else. But I think maybe the last 4 or 5 years, they made it to the World Series. With that freaking roster that they got, all that money they got, man, yeah, you definitely can. It just hasn't worked out for the Yankees.
He had to sneak that in there, man. We gonna leave Uncle alone, man. He always teasing our Yanks, but it's crazy seeing the Mets and the Dodgers having this crazy contract, and the 350 millions, 320 millions for another, and that's like, for us, we sit back and we like, wow, you have that much to build a roster for a year. So I'm in agreement, man, totally. I think it's the one sport so where you pretty much could do that. I actually want to go see more baseball myself, learn a little more about it outside of when I played when I was younger. I notice it's a sport that if you could swing a bat, if you could pitch a ball, if you could catch a ball, if you could steal a base, you could get paid in them good graces. So, for me, I suggest it's something that people look into as an athlete. There's nothing wrong with playing baseball. It's a great sport if you ask me. As it sits here to have us talking about what we're talking about. But yeah, I totally agree. You could buy a roster and definitely win for sure.
Listen, Rob is correct. I've seen some extremely expensive Yankees team not do what they're supposed to do. As far as the Dodgers, uh, currently in the last couple of years, we all know the Dodgers spend a lot of money on their roster. It's working out for them. But as far as the question, I think the same thing happens in college sports. The teams that are willing to spend big on their rosters normally have success in the season. You think about Michigan. I thought, Michigan had a great team coming into the season. Didn't know it'd be that great. They spent a lot of money on their roster. Uh the Hoosiers with Mark Cuban, sugar daddy in that program. They won a championship.
Right.
So I think I do agree that the MLB might be the best example, but throughout sports, period, normally the team that spends the most money on their roster is going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I agree. Like I said, it doesn't always lead to championships, but here lately it seems like it does. The Rangers went out and spent $500 million that year to get Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. And then they spent a lot of other money and traded stuff and won a title in 2023. So, but then, like I said, it kind of fell apart, and now they're trying to figure out how to get more money to make the roster build back up. So it just seems like your Dodgers, your Yankees, your Red Sox, they just seem to always dig into that pocket a little deeper than other teams and pull out some extra cash. So we'll see what happens. Our buddy Anthony did mention that he's hearing a report that there could be something coming down the pipeline for the Yankees to pick up Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins. And that would be huge for New York and a terrible loss for Miami. If Miami's off to such a good start, that would just be brutal to that team. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. That's just what he's given us with his report. Before we jump into anything else, we're going to hit the last topic I had. We're sitting a little bit over an hour, so we'll kind of run through this pretty quick. We've touched on it before, but we're winding it down. We got spring football winding down. What have you heard from your team that gives you hope for the season, and what has got you concerned? I don't know if any of y'all's teams have played their spring games yet. I know A&M's is this Saturday. So I don't know if y'all have done yours, but where are you leaning with your teams? Whoever wants to jump first, doesn't really matter if you've got to take on your team's spring.
I'm gonna save mine. I'm only thing I will say, because there was a great stream the other day, and I seen with the ACC preview. I know I'm a Kevin Sperry guy, but the quarterback room is loaded. O'Neal, Daniels, Sperry. I'm just loving the battle that's going on in Florida State's quarterback room. I just can't wait till the season. I'm going to not say anything about a record, talk my stuff. I'm just going to be Mossberg, man, and tune in and keep everybody just wondering what I'm going to talk about when that ACC with Florida State come about. But the quarterback room is something that I'm really looking at. I think it's probably the most competitive that has been in some years. And, I would hate to see a quarterback go, but I hope they can stay with each other and continue to build something like programs have done in the past. When those guys stay together, you see one success right after the other. And that's what I would love to see starting this year at Florida State.
Yeah, as far as Texas is concerned, man, their spring game is this Saturday. And the great thing about this Texas team that I'm starting to notice is the fact that they have the luxury of allowing certain position groups to allow some of these younger players to get a lot of reps because they already got proven players in those positions. Like, for instance, quarterback. Of course, Arch Manning isn't doing a whole lot, but this is giving KJ Lacey and Dia Bell an opportunity to get a whole lot more reps than what they would get had Arch Manning really be out there practicing. We already know what we got with Arch Manning. We don't necessarily need him to be taking these reps away from these younger players during the spring. At left tackle, the same case. Trevor Goolsby, we know what we got right there. He's probably going to be a top 15 pick in the following draft in 2027. So we can allow another younger player to go and get some action there. Along with on the defensive side of the ball, we got some younger players that we can allow to get some reps on the defensive line because we already know what we got at a lot of those positions. And we brought in a lot of guys in the transfer portal that has a lot of experience, which, like I said earlier, allows Texas to be in a really good position to get a lot of guys some reps that are young. Because you're gonna, if you're planning on winning a national title, like I think Texas is, you got to be able to have players who can help you play that gauntlet of those 15, 16, 17 games if it goes that way. And so I like what I see so far from Texas and what they've been able to do with their really, really talented players, being able to give them a time to get their bodies together while some of these younger guys can get some reps.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get it. Like I'm always excited as a college football fan and a guy who covers Notre Dame. But it's hard to get excited because it's like, all my life I've been, used to mediocrity when it comes to Notre Dame. Then here comes Marcus Freeman, and we playing in the national championship game. So it's hard, like, to get excited because it's like, all the reports are good. There's nothing bad being said. You feel me? So, uh, I mean, the key thing about this Notre Dame team, as far as the spring goes, is the depth of talent they have, especially on the defensive line, getting Charlie Partridge, a guy who developed J.J. Watt. So I think he's going to be huge for that defensive line and their growth and their ability to get after the passer. It's like, on paper, it's like, how do you pass against Notre Dame with the DBs they have, defensive linemen, some of the more underrated linebackers in the nation? So I'm a temper my expectations. I'm excited. I like what I've been hearing. I like what I've been seeing. Of course, everybody want to talk about the Ohio State receivers coming over. CJ Carr. The thing is, we've seen before where a guy has a good freshman year and then he either regresses or doesn't live up to expectation his sophomore season. They call it the sophomore slump, right? So that's something I'm going to be looking out for. But other than that, man, if all things go well, relative health, I'm looking forward to what they'll be able to accomplish. Shout out to my man Anthony Mazzano. I'm just joking with you, my man. I'm happy to have you on the channel. You bring some really good insights.
If you missed it, Rob, Anthony posted a comment and said, "Do we have a Hurricane fan as part of our network?" I was just going to be nice and be like, not that I know of. And then post game decided to go to a whole different level and tell him, we're not looking for one. And I'm dying laughing. I see post game laughing because he knows what I just read. Yeah. Moss, your boy Doug chimed in with your Longhorns and said that the three freshman linebackers have been showing out. Atkinson from Georgia, the kid from Langham Creek, a high school down there by us in Houston, and Rocky Cummings from Cali, he said, has been showing out. And
he
Moss,
sure
your
has.
boy Anthony here, this is why you probably don't like him. He said, can you trust Norvell not to screw it up?
They have Norvell there. So I'm not gonna say anything, against what I just said, when it comes to Florida State this season. I'm of course optimistic. I think this is a great battle we got coming in. I like, Jaden O'Neal is one of his guys that he brought in. I just want to see it back to what I know it is. Everybody knowing you talk about Florida State, what Florida State football is, what it can be, the program itself. You could argue with me all day and we could debate it. We got two arguably of the greatest playmakers ever to touch the field in college football history. Peter Warrick and Prime, but that's a whole nother conversation. But when it comes to Norvell, I'm a trust him. You don't have him at Florida State, which we know is a very prestigious school, a blue blood. You don't keep him there as hot as his seat has been. I think this is a do or die season when it comes to it overall. That's just my opinion. I think I'm going to say it's a do or die season for Norvell. That's just it.
Moss, how like what does that look like? Do they let him, if let's just say if y'all struggle early, do they let him finish out the season? Or if he's mediocre-ish, maybe he get the 6 or 7 wins? Because it feels like, man, that seat, man, is, oh my goodness. It's covered in gasoline, bro.
Listen, I'm rocking. If I'm Norvell, I'm like this every week, and I'm like this when the game comes. I'm moving. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm getting the guys into this locker room week in, week out. I know it's possible. I know everybody's schedules get busy. I'm going all in. That's Cleveland Cavaliers' motto is all in. We're going all in this year at Florida State. I think that's the only way you have to combat what's been going on at Florida State. If we lose early post game, if we get the November post game and we have 3 to 4 losses, Norvell will not be there in that rivalry game. I'm not for sure if it's in the Swamp or if it's in Doak Campbell, but mark my words, because y'all making me start to get antsy and start cooking up and get it going. But I'm gonna say it's do or die still. But he have to get Florida State, get this monkey. I don't know what it is. I still feel like it's the hangover, from not putting Prime in that place, having that situation and whatever. These type of things can happen in sports. When you don't do certain things, it could follow you. But I don't know.
Bro, speaking of Prime, fellas, is he on the hot seat?
Is his seat hotter than Norvell's? Ooh. Yeah, I say so.
He is. I mean, I'm not going to say that they've turned the burner up all the way up on high yet, but I promise you it's above low. It's starting to percolate a little bit. So I hate to say this to anybody that might be a Buffalo fan out there, a Colorado Buffalo fan, but being that it's Colorado probably buys him at least a little bit longer of a leash than most other places would. He wouldn't have this leash in Alabama. I can tell you that.
Yeah, because it's like the economics of the situation.
Yeah. And shout out to Manzano being in here, and I feel what he's saying. When Florida State, man, we show love to everybody, man. Hurricanes that came through Doak Campbell, we done went through and put the Hurricane to sleep. You know how it go when that rivalry comes. So, shout out to your boy Fletcher Jr. coming back. Shout out to Malachi Tony, your Miami Hurricanes. And shout out to Mensa, who y'all got. Y'all may unleash something special and go on another run and hold it down in the ACC. I don't know, but I know you looking towards that Miami-Florida State game, and it's got a lot of implications this season. Good to see you,
Anthony.
Here,
continue to follow along with us. I put a link in the chat where you see WTP for life. That was a preview of Miami's schedule last year with our boy Justin Geiger, who lives here in Columbus. He's from Miami though, but he just happens to live here in Columbus, Ohio. So check that out. And then when we get closer to the season and we doing our previews, we would definitely like to have you on to do the Miami Hurricane preview if you would like to. Just make sure you stay in contact with us so we can make that happen.
Let me go find his comment real quick. Which one, Anthony? Which one was it? You talking about the one with the TV markets? You talking about the one about the TV markets? Is that the one you're asking about, Anthony? While you answer that, I'll run through mine real quick. I think this A&M team has got more depth than we've ever had on both sides of the ball. Curious to see how the offensive line is going to gel. Everything I've heard has been really, really good coming out of there. Yeah, I'll get that comment in 1 second, Anthony. Our wide receivers, y'all can remember last year, Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver, but they were pretty much the same receiver. Even Ashton Bethel Roman, they were all kind of just real quick speed guys. There was never that body. Isaiah Horton, Anthony Gregory, I believe is his name. He's a freshman. I'm telling you what, you better watch that kid. That kid's electric. He has been the star of all practices. Him and Isaiah Horton have led the receiving corps. He is electric. I'm a little concerned about the injuries coming out. I've heard Ashton Bethel Roman is fine. He's good. It's nothing serious. I have not heard any update on Terry Bussey, though, so that kind of concerns me. We'll see. I trust Elko on defense, like I said before, but I'm telling you that Anthony Gregory guy or Aaron Gregory, whatever, I may got his name wrong, but I'm telling you, I'll watch that kid. He's electric. He's not only is he like a 6'3", 6'4" receiver, but he's blazing fast. So take the top off the defense and go get it. So that's where I am with that. Let me, Anthony asked me to post his comment on baseball. He was saying that the TV markets in baseball are not done by the TV markets. It's how big the fan bases are. Houston, Texas, Miami, St. Louis, Atlanta are considered mid or mark teams. Probably mid-level teams is what he meant, mid-market, which I guess is fair. It's obviously a little harder to say when you're in that city. It looks like that's so many fans of St. Louis. If you go to a St. Louis, there's jerseys everywhere on the street, even if there's not a game that day. So I guess it's a little more apt like that when you walk through a city. But other than that, love the comments and the going back and forth with Anthony. Thought that was great. Doug popping in. We had some other guys pop in during out. Didn't really say a whole lot. Just kind of mentioned they were there. So didn't really worry about highlighting that. So before we get out of here, has anybody got anything going? Anything else you want to mention real quick before we drop the socials and the stuff and get on out?
Yeah, just let me say real quick for everybody watching, your boy is 3 subscribers away from 300. So if you haven't subscribed to Post Game, subscribe to Post Game. Help us get the 300. I truly appreciate it.
Kind of what I wanted to do different. We always kind of mention everybody at one time. Kind of wanted everybody to give their own little social out there to give a little plug for yourself too. So go ahead, Post Game. Where can they find you?
Man, you can find the Post Game right here on YouTube at Post Game 86. You can find the Post Game podcast, Post Game Sports. I'm really not too active on other social media platforms, but you can find me on Instagram at Post Game 86. You can find me on TikTok at Post Game 4, I believe it is. So check it out.
most definitely.
myself.
And y'all heard him. Y'all heard him real quick, Moss. He needs 3 subscribers for 300. So, if you're a subscriber to Post Game and watching this, grab your coworker's phone and subscribe them when they're not looking. They ain't gonna matter. Get that man to 300.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, man. Get Post up to 300, man. Get him up to 1,000. Get him up to 1,000,000, man. Get everybody up to 1,000,000. It's Mossberg, man. You can find me Level Up Sports 10 on Instagram, TikTok. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name is Joe Moss on Facebook. That's JOE MOSS on Facebook. Of course, you have our website, WTPSportsDudes.com as well. Doug, if you're tuning in, man, I appreciate you. I'm getting that edit finished up as I sent you the finishing touches. I'm going to add some little glizzes on there of my own pleasures with the name and things, and I'll be dropping that tonight, if not tomorrow morning. I do edits as well for those out there tuning in, man. We do so many things within this group, so make sure you tap into those websites and those socials as well.
Well, you should be at 298 now post game, because I think my wife just subscribed to you. So
let's get them up.
She's here to help the team. Go ahead, Rob. You're up, and you can hit yours, and then if you want to also plug the website.
All right, cool. Let me give a shout out to my man, Linnell Walton Jr. He has made or qualified for the National Golden Gloves from here out of Columbus, Ohio. Even though he's training in Cincinnati right now, he's from Columbus, Ohio. One of our homies from the neighborhood, his son, his junior. Shout out to him. Go out there and be great on that boxing scene. Linnell Walton Jr. Congratulations on making it to the Nationals in boxing Golden Gloves.
I don't mean to cut you off, my brother. You know what weight class he campaigns at?
154.
154.
154.
Real quick as well, man. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just speaking to his mom this morning, trying to tap into that special conversation with Mossberg. Miss Lee, if you're watching, we got to have Mr. Walton. We got to have you on the show. We want to have that conversation, man, to get a people a glimpse into, himself, you. As a mom, we applaud everything you do. I just appreciate you for returning the messages when I do reach out to you, as well as everyone else as well. Just had to get that in there with you mentioning that.
Yeah, you haven't already subscribed yet to WTP Sports Dudes. You can find us on YouTube at WTP for Life. Make sure you check us out. Continue to subscribe to our channel. Make sure that when you get an opportunity to, if you ever are watching from WTP Sports Dudes on YouTube, you can also do super chats. We will greatly appreciate that as well. And make sure you go on to WTPSportsDudes.com and check out our website. If you got any questions you want to ask or you want us to post on the website, we will do that. And also send us your comments and response to some of the questions we already have on there.
For sure. You got we'll go through. We got some other channels scrolling across the bottom. Y'all can go check out when you get a chance to. City League TV on Facebook. One Take Zay is on there. I'm SEC Sean. I'm kind of the weird sport guy. I kind of follow a lot of the stuff that's not really mainstream, your NASCAR, hockey, stuff like that. But you can find me here on YouTube, obviously, at SEC Sean, TikTok, SEC Sean, Instagram, SEC Sean. WTP Sports Dudes also does have a Patreon page that all these are uploaded to. These videos are uploaded there too. It's also linked up to Spotify. You can search WTP Sports Dudes 2026 under podcasts and listen to it if you're driving around. I also have my Patreon page under SEC Sean. That is mostly it's all NASCAR talk on there right now. That's kind of what I'm focusing in on that avenue. Do giveaways on it, autographs from drivers, things like that are given away to paid subscribers. And again, we get some paid subscribers on our WTP Sports Dudes page, and we'll work on giving some stuff away there too. Hopefully we can get rid of some of that stuff off Moss's wall to help him clean up, but we'll see about that.
Nah, man, that's that Ohio State, man. First game. You see, I got the Waffle House menu up there. That's that Waffle House menu for them good eats, but it's not the newest menu. But I did get a menu, you know. I'll be snapping. That's the Mambo over there. That's Joey
Speaking
Burrow
of Waffle House, I got a little Waffle House story for you. We were coming back from the birthday party up in Delaware for my granddaughter Sunday, and one of my guys who used to work for me had come, and he was driving home, and he texted me, and he goes, "Hey, somebody just got pulled out of the Waffle House on a stretcher." And I said, "What?" He said, "And it ain't even 2 a.m."
Wow. So, you know I'm not there no more. Especially if I wonder if it was the one in Marysville or
no, it was the one. It was the one right here off 23. It's that one.
Wow.
That's the one we drove right past. So
yeah, that's Worthington. It'd be you know, hopefully everything was all right, man.
So that's where you can find all of us. I'll run through real quick. I know, Moss, you're going tomorrow with your What If, right?
Yes, sir. What If Wednesday? Part we doing? Part 4? Part 4 tomorrow? I think so. Yes, sir.
Post, you're going on Thursday with we gonna do Respect It or Check It, or are you doing a mock?
Yeah, I haven't. I'm not 100% sure as of right now, because I kind of want to do a final mock where we all can be there. You know, it just makes it better. I know, some people work or whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna see. I haven't decided yet.
I know one thing Jed does want you to do the mock on Saturday morning. If you get in contact with him, he's gonna reach out to you too. If you want to do it on Saturday morning.
Yeah, that would be perfect, because it gives us a chance for us all to be there and participate in a mock, which would make for a better mock draft.
I know it's gonna be tough for me because I'll be cooking again. I know I'll be cooking
PTO
the whole month of May. Yeah,
PTO,
the whole month of May with
PTO, bro.
Eat, man.
Was that a cough? Was that a cough I heard, Moss? Is it?
Shout out to KT's Good Eats, man. The birds, man, keeping me employed. Through this time of me really figuring some things out. Really, locked in on what we do, man. I really, have dreams about us doing something that we, don't see right now. I really, have so many things to where it's just constantly in my brain. And I think, chances, I know they say chances make champions. You got, there's rewards and risk. It's just a lot of different things that I've heard and know has been, wisdom. So, I'm that guy. I'm willing to sacrifice, for the better when it comes to something that I love doing. And I love what we do. So you definitely going to see a lot more conversations coming from Mossberg. I apologize if I get in anybody's way at a time, but you may see a conversation pop up at noon. You may see one pop up at 4. I'll definitely let everybody know, but I think right now is a time for us, myself personally, to put everything that I've been doing to work, and behind the scenes. So that's what I'm trying to do and bring that to the people for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so that's going to be Thursday. And obviously you heard Saturday we'll be going on. What time are we going Saturday? Is it 9, 9:45? 10? What are we doing?
Yeah.
10.
Okay. 10 a.m. on Saturday. Friday, I don't think we have anything lined up yet. I know I'll be going live Saturday evening after qualifying and everything goes to do my previews for the race weekend. And then Sunday, we're back on it. Is Sunday still 10 or is it 9 now?
It's 9.
Okay, so Sunday at 9 a.m. So we got something for you pretty much every day of the week. We're going to work something in on Friday, too, to give y'all the content y'all want, deserve, and need. Other than that, if nobody's got anything else, we're going to step on out for the evening and call it and wrap it up. So,
Yes, sir. As we
We good?
always do,
All
man.
right.
We was in the
As we
building
always-
and we out.
peace.
Peace.